I would love for you to tell us about your concept of BATNA and how you put that into play in making the decision about your deal with Calistoga, how that all worked out.
Sure.
Do that, yeah.
So I think that a BATNA is a very important thing, and that stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. And really what it says is that you should always have an alternative to whatever your agreement might be. And so in terms of partnering or M&A, knowing that you have something else as an alternative if people aren't recognizing the value that you think you have in your company. And so we at Calistoga always tried to set up thinking about financing alternatives, so equity financing with our venture side, and then eventually we were considering public financing, and then weighing that against the alternative of either partnering or M&A, such that you were always planning for either opportunity, and really it was then about valuation. If people saw your valuation as you saw it, then there was the opportunity to, in this case, transact with an acquisition. There was also sort of what were the needs of the company, and so really recognizing what are your strengths, but what are the areas that you need help on, and that kind of goes into that BATNA as well in terms of if the data is sort of marginal and you still need to do a lot more work in terms of clinical trials, that might be difficult for you to fund, and so maybe you need to do a partnership to be able to, and so then your best alternative may be making sure that you just get that help, even though the value might not be as good as you want, but you still move the product forward versus having it just sit. In our case at Calistoga, our data was very robust, and so that generated, of course, a lot of interest, which is kind of the luck of the draw. This is a tough business, and we were very fortunate to have a great team, but also a drug that performed very well. And so that enabled us to have a lot of options to think about either financing and moving forward ourselves or partnering, or in this case, there was the opportunity to be acquired and have Gilead Sciences now take it forward and really broaden the development program, which is great for patients because more patients can get the drug sooner, but it's also great for our employees and our investors. So I think it's turned out to be a great win-win.
Great, and you started out looking for partnering, am I right?
That's correct. We were thinking that it would be helpful to have a partner that would help us with the global development. And so we wanted to retain North American rights, but then partner or license the product for ex-North America. We felt confident that we could, if we took it that far, be able to commercialize in the U.S. I have a lot of experience in commercialization at past companies, and so we were confident that we could organize a sales force and be able to do that. It would have been harder to do that in parallel in Europe and other countries, and so it would make sense to have a partner. So we started that dialogue, and then ended up that there were a number of companies who said, no, the North American rights are so valuable to us to build their own franchise in oncology that they just felt like that they wanted to have North American rights. And for us, the lead program was enough of the value of the company that we really felt like if we licensed away North American rights, we were basically licensing almost all the value of the company. And so we said, you have to acquire us if you want North America, which then led into the process where a number of companies were interested in acquisition and ultimately led to the Gilead acquiring us.
And so you went with your BATNA in the end.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And even in the discussion about value and what the acquisition, I think that I understand on the pharma side there's some testing to sort of see, if we put in sort of this low offer, would they bite at this? Because there's a perception that the venture investors are eager to exit, and so therefore they'll sort of take anything just to get out. And fortunately we had very strong investors, and we had a very strong program and a great team, and so we basically turned down some folks that kind of at the initial opportunity gave us what we thought were not substantial enough offers, basically.
Excellent, excellent. And just for the record, can you tell us what your deal was in the end?
Sure. So Gilead Sciences acquired Calistoga for a total of $600 million. Up front was $375 million, and the other $225 million are based on certain milestones that are regulatory milestones to come in the future. We're very pleased that they also retained our R&D staff, and so the people that really have a lot of expertise in this space are still working on the program, but of course we're now able to do a lot more in terms of bringing on Gilead's assistance and their resources. So it's really been terrific, I think, for all involved.